It's your guy Bendu, and I'm coming at y'all with another story today. And today I'm going to be talking about this Exxon story. So, came across it on Twitter. Like I heard rumblings of and things of that nature, and people talking about it on there. Sorry, I already know I'm a thirsty ass guy, so thirsty. It's like nah, but yeah, I came across this joint on Twitter and I found it interesting. Like, it doesn't necessarily reveal any information we didn't know prior to this story. Like, Exxon, Exxon lies about, and deflects from its role in climate change and its continued role in climate change and denying it, this, that, and the third. Like, I feel like we all knew that, but it's like, I think this is the most blatant they've ever come out, or this is the most like they've ever been exposed actually saying that part out loud. So I think that's why it's becoming such a big deal. So I have some clippings and I have a video that I'm going to be playing along with it. So I'm going to be breaking down multiple portions of this article over the next few days as well. And the part I'm going to be covering now is the like the PR ploys that they use, and also one of those PR ploys being the carbon tax, the carbon tax fear mongering. And I'm also going to be covering how they like target senators and specific senators they target and everything like that. So, like I said, y'all already know, I'll link the articles down below so y'all can read the whole article if you want to. It's just that for this video today, I'm going to be covering certain parts of the article and covering other parts later, like Wednesday or Friday. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and get into that. So this is from Unearthed. This is from this is their Greenpeace's investigative journalism wing. And yeah, this article, Inside Exxon's Playbook, How America's Biggest Oil Company Continues to Oppose Action on Climate Change. ExxonMobil aims to drastically weaken Biden's climate plans and used shadow groups to aggressively fight climate science, insider tells undercover reporter. Like I said, I'm only going to be covering a certain part of this article. Like, I'm not going to go too much into the infrastructure elements of this. I actually want to cut, like I said, I want to cover the PR ploy stuff, like the carbon tax and everything, and how they target senators and things like that. And then I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes of infrastructure, because I'm actually going to piggyback that off another story with that David Dayen wrote about infrastructure. So that's why I'm playing it this way. So if you want to read the whole article, like I said, I'm going to link it in the description below, and definitely go check it out for yourself there. ExxonMobil continues to fight efforts to tackle climate change in the United States, despite publicly claiming to support the Paris Climate Agreement. An undercover investigation by Unearthed has found a senior lobbyist for Exxon told an undercover reporter that the company had been working to weaken key aspects of President Joe Biden's flagship initiative on climate change, the American Jobs Plan. Did we aggressively, and this is a quote from Keith McCoy, the Exxon lobbyist that got caught on some dumb shit. I don't know if he's still employed, but that motherfucker probably got fired. He's about to get fired if he's not already. Did we aggressively fight against some of the science? Yes. He described Biden's new plan to slash U.S. greenhouse gas emissions as insane, and admitted that the company had aggressively fought early climate science through shadow groups to protect its investments. And I'm actually so like I said, I'm going to be doing book reviews. I know this is a quick segue. And the first book I'm going to be reviewing is The Communist Manifesto. But the second book I'm going to be reviewing is this book about climate change and I'm looking up the title because I just bought it. It's going to be coming in the mail. So obviously it's not going to come this week, but once it comes in the mail and I read it, I'm going to do a review on it. I'm just trying to find it. I can tell you all the title, because I forgot what the title's called. Exxon, The Road Not Taken. And it's by Neela Banerjee, John H. Cushman Jr., David Hassmeyer, and Lisa Song. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a review of that book in coordination with this one. I'm going to, and I'm going to try, hopefully it comes in within the next few days. I ordered it off of Better World Books because fuck Amazon. So hopefully it comes in, probably Thursday, Wednesday, and I could read it and get it done, because it's not that long from what I saw. So, but yeah, so the reason why I brought that up is because it goes into that, like what they were saying here, like how they fought early climate science through shadow groups to protect its investments. They actually had the data about this, and he goes into that in this article as well. Keith McCoy does. But yeah, but I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do a book review of that book in coordination with this. Hopefully I'll have it out Saturday for the live stream, because I'm going to be doing a live stream. I'll talk about that at the end of the video as well. Keith McCoy, a senior director in Exxon's Washington, D.C. government affairs team, told the undercover reporter that he is speaking to the office of influential Democratic Senator Joe Manchin every week with the aim of drastically reducing the scope of Biden's climate plan so that negative stuff, such as rules limiting greenhouse gas emissions and taxes on oil companies, are removed. Last week, after weeks of bipartisan talks, President Biden conditionally endorsed a scaled back version of his infrastructure plan, which eliminates hundreds of billions of dollars of proposed support for climate initiatives. During the undercover meeting, which took place via Zoom in May, McCoy suggested that Exxon's public support for a carbon tax as its principal climate policy is an advocacy tool and great talking point that will never actually happen. Nobody is going to propose a tax on all Americans, and the cynical side of me says, yeah, we kind of know that, but it gives us a talking point that we can say, well, what is ExxonMobil for? Well, we're for a carbon tax, McCoy said. And they use that as a point of fear mongering because Americans are afraid of taxes. I guess for justified reasons. I don't like if you're paying more tax, like if you're paying more taxes and all of your taxes, like, like we currently do, if we pay more taxes and all of it is going to, bullshit, like it's going to rich people, it's going to wars, this, that, and the third. Yeah, I can understand your hatred for taxes, but, like you'll get like the libertarian hardcore, hardcore people from that group and like the anarcho capitalists and shit like that will like go in on like taxes for like healthcare and shit like that, where it's like, bro, like I don't know if you've been paying attention to the private sector in healthcare, and the profit motive in healthcare hasn't been ending well for America. We come in last in every single category of, when it comes in in relation to healthcare. So but whatever. But yeah, so that's why they do that. Continuing, a second Exxon lobbyist, Dan Easley, who left the company in January after working as its chief White House lobbyist throughout the Trump administration, laughed when asked by an undercover reporter if the company had achieved many policy wins under Trump before outlining victories on fossil fuel permitting and their renegotiation of the NAFTA trade agreement. And they go more into that in the article. I'm going to be covering that Friday. But yeah. Permitting in the renegotiation of the NAFTA trade agreement. But yeah, so Trump definitely was not pro fucking he didn't give a fuck. He held the Republican standard when it came to climate change, basically. There was this video. I might edit it in. I don't know. I might save it for the video Friday, where he's like in front of like these EPA people, I think, or some people, scientists dealing with climate change, and this scientist is snapping on him, yelling at him like, "Yo, we need to do something about it now." This, that, and the third. He's citing evidence and data and shit like that. And this motherfucker Trump looks at him and was like, "It'll get cooler. Just you watch." I'm like, this is horrible because this is the president saying this. This is like failed state shit, but because it's Trump, it's hilarious the way he said it, the wording, perfect comedic timing, and it's like I can't help but laugh, man. Like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So, but yeah, so I might, I don't know if I'm gonna tag it in yet. Like I'm talking right now, so I don't know if I tagged it in. I might save it for Friday because it's so hilarious, bro, and it's telling how dumb Trump is. Like as much as I, talk about I don't talk about Trump on the channel because I feel like every other progressive channel has that covered. And like Trump is an idiot. I will gladly say that he's an idiot. He's a moron. The wins are such that it would be difficult to categorize them all, he said, adding that the biggest victory was Trump's reduction in the corporate tax rate, which was probably worth billions to Exxon. So yeah, he also fucks you over there, people. Denial and delay. Exxon claims to support global effort to tackle climate change, but it hasn't always. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, the company orchestrated a multi-million-dollar disinformation campaign that manufactured doubt regarding the link between global warming and the burning of fossil fuels. Did we join some of those shadow groups to work against some of the early efforts on climate change? Yes. That's still Keith McCoy, Exxon Lobby, is saying that. This is important. So this is the PR narrative of it, of the article. It did so through a concerted strategic communications and lobbying push, which provided fringe scientists who denied climate science with funding and a platform via Exxon. Placed op-eds, advertisements, and political briefings. Exxon also helped to fund and lead a powerful cross-industry group, the Global Climate Coalition (GCC), which spends tens of millions of dollars campaigning against a binding global climate agreement ahead of the 1997 UN Climate Summit in Kyoto. The organization spent $13 million on one advertising campaign alone, aiming to weaken U.S. support for an agreement in Kyoto. The efforts were successful. The U.S. Congress refused to ratify Kyoto, and Exxon later lobbied the Bush administration to pull out of the protocol altogether. This left global efforts to rein in greenhouse gas emissions in tatters. Fighting science. Exxon continues to deny having misled the public on climate change, and no serving Exxon executive has ever admitted that the company fought climate science to protect the company's financial interest until now. Because this idiot got caught saying it. McCoy told an undercover unearthed reporter that although he didn't believe Exxon buried its own science, the company had cast doubt on the scientific consensus. Did we aggressively fight against some of the science? Yes. Did we hide our science? Absolutely not. Yes, you fucking did. Did we join some of these shadow groups to work against some of their early efforts? Yes, that's true. But there's nothing illegal about that. You know, we were looking out for our investments. We were looking out for our shareholders. American people be damned. We need to look out for our shareholders. Continuing, a new playbook. By the start of the Obama administration in January 2009, it had become untenable for ExxonMobil to continue to publicly cast doubt on climate change or doubt on climate science. Instead, ahead of Obama's inauguration and in an apparent break with Exxon's long opposition to what it called near-term policies on climate change, the company's then CEO, Rex Tillerson, publicly backed a carbon tax. So again, this is the corruption of Donald Trump. Instead, like back in the day, they would have not back in the day, but previously to Trump, they would have lobbyists that would do this. They would have lobbyists that would, conduct these business transactions to protect certain investments. When the new president came in, Donald Trump said, "Nah, fuck that. I'm just going to hire the CEO directly." Why not? So again, that's the corruption of Donald Trump, along with selecting Jim Acosta as his labor secretary, knowing his ties to Jeffrey Epstein and protecting a pedophile, and also appointing William Barr as Attorney General, also knowing his ties to Epstein, a fucking pedophile, and also put in Steve Mnuchin as the Secretary of Treasury, who basically was stealing Americans' houses during the housing crisis and would have been thrown in jail if it wasn't for Kamala Harris refusing to prosecute him because she accepted campaign donations from him. I like to add that caveat in there about Trump and the Democrats, Kamala Harris as well. It's one big capitalist gangbang and you're not invited, as Jimmy Dore would say. The proposal sought to spread the cost of tackling climate change beyond the fossil fuel sector, taxing businesses in every sector of the economy for each ton of carbon emitted, either by them directly or embedded in products they sell to consumers. The cost of this would then be passed on the public, and that is what's called the carbon tax. In making the announcement, Tillerson sketched the outlines of a new ExxonMobil playbook on climate change, one that accepts the science but nevertheless seeks to delay rapid emissions cuts. Instead of subsidizing renewables, government should prioritize research and development to discover a breakthrough technology. In the meantime, Exxon will remain fundamentally an oil and gas company because we think that's what society needs and will have to have for the next 50 years, Tillerson said. So that's the PR campaign that they go through. Now, this is what I found interesting, and I'm going to play a video about this because I'm moving into the targeting senator section. I found this interesting.
Nobody is going to propose a tax on all Americans. And the cynical side of me says, yeah, we kind of know that. But it gives us a talking point that we can say, well, what is ExxonMobil for? Well, we're for a carbon tax.
What you said was just really interesting. So it's basically never going to happen, right? Is the calculation?
Yeah. No, it's not going to. Carbon tax isn't going to happen.
So this helps me understand a little bit why suddenly a lot of US oil majors are talking about a carbon tax, because it sounds pretty.
Well, the cynical side of me, they've got nothing else. So it's an easy talking point to say, look, I'm for a carbon tax. So that's the talking point. That is in my mind, an effective advocacy tool.
Because it, they name a lot of, he names a lot of Democratic senators he targets and everything. And I'm not saying this is because obviously he's just talking of his own free will and volition because he doesn't know what's going on. But again, I think this is being used to beat up on the usual suspects, like in the progressive circles. So I saw a segment from Majority Report where Sam Cedar was using it to beat up on Joe Manchin, which I'm all for. Do it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about Joe Manchin and people like Kristen Sinema and stuff like that and shit like that. But again, it deflects from AOC's Green New corporatist deal, which was exposed, by reporting by Max Blumenthal. And I wanted to bring this up because I'm going to be covering this on the live stream on Saturday. I'm going to do kind of like a wrap up of this whole climate change story that's been going on. That's why I'm doing it throughout the week. And I'm going to do a wrap up with Max Blumenthal's story because while this is important, because while pointing out, how Exxon hid this from us, hid this from people for so long, and how they continue to do it, and how they lobby, to basically keep the fossil fuel industry on life support and shit like that, because that's essentially what they're doing to reap as much profits as they can. It's the same people on the back end coming in with the Green New Deal technology. It's the same people, it's the same billionaires that are involved, and like ALC's Green New Deal is incentivizing them. So the people that made profits off of destroying the planet through AOC's Green New corporatist deal now gets to reap the benefits of being reap the profits of being the people who are saving the planet when they're really not. Because like I said, I talk about Planet of the Humans all the time. I should do a review of that. I should do a movie review of it. I might start doing documentary reviews on top of the book reviews as well. But Planet of the Humans talked about this, how this is capitalism 101. This is what it is. Like you um reap the profits anywhere you can. So when the profit motive, as is clearly shifting and getting behind, the solutions aspect, that's why you see people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Michael Bloomberg and all of these billionaires get upon it. Even the fucking Koch brothers, like they revealed that a lot of the funding for like people like Bill McKibben and the 350 Org Foundation comes from the Koch brothers and the Rockefellers and all types of shit. That's why you saw people like Josh Fox going off of Max Blumenthal, calling him a Russian and a Nazi and all that shit, because he also exposed Josh Fox for being a fuckhead as well, a piece of shit, corrupt fuckhead, who's not addressing the real problem with the environment and climate change, which is consumption. So the rate of consumption, you can throw as many solar panels up as you want, but the mass number of that shit that we need and shit like that is going to destroy the planet just as much as you know um fossil fuels, like the mining for the minerals for this shit. The Elon Musk, the mining for his batteries and shit like that. That's why it's complete dog shit when he's talking about he's not accepting Bitcoin anymore for the environmental reasons. Bro, you're fucking plants, even when it was in California, because I see Graham Elwood talking a lot about how he's using electricity in Texas after moving from California, which Graham is right. Graham is 100% right in there. I'm not saying this to bust his balls. I'm saying this just to correct the record. He was using fossil fuels to power his plant when he was in California. They were on the grid. Tesla was on the grid in California. So it's like, and it's crazy because I'm gonna show you. There's a crazy person everybody talks about, because I don't want to spoil the part of the video I think is going to be surprising to everybody when I show this clip. But there's a person everybody shits on as being a crazy psychopath. Now that I said that, y'all probably know who it is now, but literally got this right 100%. He was recently on the show and talked about this and was 100% right. And nobody talked about it because it's this crazy, insane, quote unquote crazy, insane guy. It's crazy. But yeah, so I'm going to be going into that. But I find it interesting here in this part of the article and how they talk about they target senators. So I'm going to read it and then I'm going to play the video after I read through this section. So let's get into it. When asked which senators Exxon is lobbying on these specific points, McCoy said Senator Shelley Moore Capito, I say her name, Republican senator for West Virginia, who's the ranking member of Environment and Public Works. Joe Manchin, I talk to his office every week. He is the kingmaker on this because he's a Democrat from West Virginia, which is a very conservative state. So he is, and he's not shy about sort of taking, sort of staking his claim early and completely changing the debate. Yeah, which he does because he's a fuckhead. But again, I feel like this is being used to distract from the fact that AOC is not presenting a Green New Deal. Joe Manchin is being used to deflect, by progressives. And I'm not saying Joe Manchin is doing this purposely. Joe Manchin is just representing his interest, but he's being used by progressives to deflect from AOC's Green New Corporatist deal, Green New Corporate Deal. That's why you see this hard pressed by people like Sam Cedar and TYT to do this. And it's honestly disgusting. It's trash. Because I know these motherfuckers know. Like, I'm an idiot in my basement. I'm literally drunk and high right now recording this. So I know they know. Because I know. And I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot. I'm pretty, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I'm a pretty smart guy. But I'm literally recording this segment lit as fuck right now. Drunk and high. I even did my research drunk and high. So I know these niggas know. And that's what's crazy. But so I wanted to preface that by saying this because I feel like that's what Joe Manchin is being used for right now. On the Democrat side, we look for the moderates on these issues, McCoy continued, highlighting figures including Arizona Senator Kristen Sinema, John Tester, Senator from Montana, and Chris Coons. So all my Delaware folks, because I live in Delaware. Chris Coons, Senator for Delaware, President Biden's home state. Senator Coons has a very close relationship with Senator now President Biden. So we've been working with his office. As a matter of fact, our CEO is talking to him next Tuesday and having those conversations and just teeing it up. And then that way I can start working with his staff to let them know where we are on some of these issues, McCoy said. And that's honestly, I know I said I will not vote Democrat. That is the only reason why I voted for Jessica Scarine, to get him the fuck out of there because of grimy, fucking greedy shit like this. And look, I'm not going to sit here, and shit on her and shit on her character because I don't know her. She didn't get any power, and I don't believe in punching down. But I don't know, like, I don't know if she would have been able to prevent this from happening. And even if she did, she would be like a pariah in the Senate, if she did this, and they would find a way to get her out of the Senate some way, somehow, if she got in the way, especially of big oil's money. Because as we know, the Democrats fought hard to keep taking fossil fuel contributions in our platform this past election cycle. So again, I'm not even going to go there because obviously she has no power, and I don't hate her. You feel me? And I don't not dislike her. I actually like a lot of the shit she says. It's just when you have that D next to your name and you affiliate yourself with the Democratic Party, I can't. But I sucked it up and voted for her in the Senate primary. She didn't win, but sucked it up and voted for her because of shit like this with Chris Coons. So he added that he targets Senator like Mark Kelly, which is a shame because I actually liked Mark Kelly, but Democratic senator from Arizona, and maybe because I liked him because he's an astronaut and science and shit, because I really don't know his policies, and I'll be honest when I say that. So this goes to show you shouldn't like people for personality and shit like that. You should know their fucking policies, as I usually do. But like I said, I'm in the science shit. He's an astronaut. I'm like, who astronaut? I'm an idiot sometimes. New Hampshire Democrat Senator Maggie Hassan and Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio. No fucking surprise. Marco Rubio literally destroys the planet and stages coups on a random Tuesday. So that's Marco Rubio, the populist Marco Rubio for you. Who are up for re-election in 2022. I can't worry about the 2027 class because they're not focused on re-election. The 2022 class is focused on re-election. So I know I have them. You can have those conversations with them because they're a captive audience. They know they need you and I need them. That is disgusting. With the vast majority of the clean energy and transport spending now stripped from the proposed bipartisan legislation, Biden has signaled that he will attempt to address climate change through a separate budget reconciliation bill, which can be passed with a simple majority vote. And oh yeah, all right, that's it. That's all the article. all the part of the article. So that I found super interesting. A lot of disgusting shit in there, obviously, like I said. And there. I never realized that. But I'm having a kooky day today, guys. But yeah, that's disgusting. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. The fact that they know, you feel me, which is horrible that they know and they're pushing it. But the line, just going into the line of attacks they use on senators to get them on board, and just that line. Hang on, I want to go to that last line I just said, because that's where it's like I kind of want to take a shower after reading that line. Like, you know, I can't worry about the 2027 class because they're not focused on reelection. The 2022 class is focused on reelection. So I know I have them. You can have those conversations with them because they're a captive audience. They know they need you and I need them. That, oh my God, I might have to go take a shower after that. Oh my God, man. So yeah, honestly, it's disgusting, but it's obvious. This is what it is. This is why I don't really give a fuck. Like Ryan Grimm talking about, oh, and it's most boring. I'm gonna try and be as boring as Ryan Grimm. So Jimmy Dore, I can't. There's no way you could be as boring as Ryan Grimm. But this whole thing he put out there about like, oh, all people care about is the Jimmy Dore drama, basically, and shit like that. This, that, and the third. No, nobody gives a fuck about a bullshit infrastructure bill that's not actually going to address climate change at all. It's not even, and I tweeted this out. It's not even including AOC's Green New Corporatist deal. And even if it was, again, the benefits of that is going to the billionaires who destroyed the shit in the first place and are going to continue destroying it by greenwashing everything, which I said Max Blumenthal covered in his article that I'm going to be covering this Saturday on my live stream. So I want to go ahead and close the video out there, guys. I already had you for like 26 minutes. This is a long video. I didn't realize it was going to be this long, but yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you're on Odyssey, do the same thing. Keep showing love. Keep commenting. YouTube, all my YouTubers, I appreciate y'all commenting on everything. Y'all definitely been, like, engagement been really good, honestly. Now, I enjoy the conversations y'all been putting down there and everything, so keep doing it. But all I ask is that continue those conversations on social media and shit like that. Hit me up on social media and talk to me there. Show love on there as well. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, all that. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Peace.